You are now tuned in to the Premier Hotspur TV. Sit back, get involved, comment away, because we are live.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Premier Hotspur TV. It's your man Simon, North of England's biggest Spurs fan. Yes, guys, tonight we are bringing you a show. It's quite a different show, guys. We're going to bring some talent across Europe, and we've got our special guest, Alex, the Euro expert. He's going to bring us some light on some of these players we're going to bring up, and he's going to tell us are they good players for Tottenham? Maybe go after in the summer. Firstly, we've got co-host Matt. Matt, thanks for coming on again, mate. Nice
No
one.
problem, mate.
How's it been?
Yeah, all good. Sorry I couldn't make obviously the call-in show yesterday, but yeah, you know, when Spurs win and it puts a smile on your face, doesn't it? It just sets up the week nicely. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to obviously hearing from Alex tonight and hearing one of the big talents in Europe and players that maybe potentially we could go for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we'll introduce Alex, the Euro expert. How's it going, Alex? Thanks for joining the channel, mate. Much appreciate giving up your time to come on here and giving some detail on some of these players, what could be a future Tottenham players. We actually never know. So how's it going, Alex?
It's going very well, thank you. It's an honour. I love coming on all different channels. I like coming on the Tottenham channel specifically, actually. I've been on Matt Hayes recently, a very nice guy. So but I feel like making new friends almost. But yeah, I'm here to talk about some players. I've mixed up a little bit. There's some players here that Tottenham have had no links with, but I think it's genuinely actually quite possible and likely. And a few players that Tottenham have been linked with in the past and kind of recently. And I'm going to touch on if they are the right fit for Tottenham, like you said. So it should be interesting. And we're going to have a very good conversation about Tottenham in this, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll just get your highlight, your insight on the on the Ten Hag, what you said behind the scenes. We'll just have a quick update on that as well, Alex, at the end before we go out. We've got D-Shirts Kane saying, I'm so excited for this vid. I know so many young prospects that Tottenham need to buy. Big up Premier Hotspur TV, huge fan. Thanks, thanks, pal, for coming in. Keelan says hi. Big up my G, Si. Thank you, Keelan, for coming in, pal. Yes, guys, we're going to hit it off because Alex is strictly to 1 hour. We're not going to waste his time. So we've got AD Johnson's. All right, Governor, how's it going, AD? Thanks for tuning in from Facebook. Yes, guys, if you are tuning from Facebook, guys, hit the comments as well, guys. And smash the like, subscribe if you already haven't. Guys, we are 17 away from 500 subs. So let's make it, guys, before the weekend. Sorry about this. So, Alex, we got, where is he? We got to this one first, Alex.
Go for it.
Alexander, Isaac. Yeah. Tell us more about this player.
Sure thing. Alexander Isak. So he's a name that's been on the lips of a lot of people, I think, for a couple of years because he moved to Borussia Dortmund a few seasons ago. And being Swedish and being a striker immediately was compared to Ibrahimovic with no real similarities other than being Swedish and tall. And he didn't really settle down in Dortmund. So he's moved to Spain. He's playing for Real Sociedad and he scored 14 goals this season. He's got 6 assists as well. He's looked really promising at the age of 21 years old. I believe he turns 22 later this year. I think it might be in June. And Isaac, I've pinpointed him out because I think this is to tackle the sort of side of Tottenham where you don't know 100% what's happening with Harry Kane. I personally think he'll stay. I think it's a lot of media hype that he's leaving or all of this or whatever. But in the event that Tottenham need a top quality striker, they're in a bit of an odd space. I'm sure you guys agree in terms of you're not like a Man City where you can't go to Romelu Lukaku and say you're going to win the Premier League if you come to us. But you're bigger than Everton. You're not going to go to a player like Dominic Calvert-Lewin and say, come to us, you'll start every game because you can't fully rely on him. So you're in this sort of odd space where you need that player who's going to be world class, who isn't quite there yet, but you can have a safe gamble that he is. And Isaac's probably the number one target in Europe for that. He's had a really good season, as I said, at Sociedad. To describe his play style, as I said, he's quite tall. He's about 6'3", but he's deceptively good on the ball. In a way, it's hard to think of a. I mean, I'm trying to think of a Tottenham player to compare it to. Dimitar Berbatov immediately sprung to the mind, but you don't want to compare anyone to him. What a man that guy is. But Isaac is very good in the air, but as I said, really good on the ball, and he'll often drop deep and drive up the pitch. And I think he's valued around 30 million at the moment, and in Spain, it's unclear quite how badly COVID's affecting clubs. Whereas in other clubs, it's like in France, it's clearly decimating them. So you don't know how well you're going to bargain Sociedad, and obviously there's a release clause there to bargain with. But I think he'd be a good fit for Spurs because he's very all-rounded, and it's not going to be like a Carlos Vinicius situation where he feels a bit ham-fisted into the team. I think if he comes to Spurs, he scores goals. And the only negative I have to his game is that he hasn't scored against any of the big sides yet in Spain. Like he's never, this season at least, he hasn't scored against Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and he hasn't scored in the Europa League. But he's really young, so I kind of excuse him on that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Alex. I've just got some little bits on him. As I said, he's a forward. He's age 21, guys. He's a Swedish international. He made his debut in 16-17 at ALK, Swedish team. Is that a Swedish team, guys? Isn't it?
So, yeah.
Yeah. And he had 24 appearances then, and he got 10. And he got 10 goals. 17-19 season, he had played at Dortmund's second team. He had 12 appearances and scoring 5 goals, and he had 5 appearances for the first team and scoring no goals. Then he went on loan to in 18-19 to William. Is it William II? I think it's a Dutch team.
Willem II, yeah.
Yeah. And he went on loan there. Very good record there. 16 appearances and 13 goals. Very good return. And Sociedad since 19 to present, 67 appearances and 23 goals. For Sweden, 20 appearances and 6 goals. So Sociedad, that record, 67, only 23 return. Is he the main striker, Alex, at Sociedad?
He wasn't at first because they had Willian Jose. He's obviously now at Wolves. So this season's been more of his breakouts. You mentioned the 23 goals there. 14 of them have come this season alone. So he's kicked on this season. This one is in his breakout one, where Willian Jose left to Wolves in January. So now he is the main striker for Sociedad. Yeah,
absolutely. Nice one for that. Matt, would just bring you in there, mate, on Isaac. Is it something you'll be interested in for Spurs to look at in the summer? That record I just read out there, it's not saying that it explodes us with delight to go out and sign someone like this. But I said he's only 21, and it could be a good player going forward.
Yeah, I don't know loads about him. I mean, is he quite quick? Is he?
Yeah, he's fairly quick. He tries to. He's one of those players that will try and knock it around the defender and beat him for pace.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we need a striker like that. I mean, my view on it is I want Ivan Toney to come in. I want us to maybe look at him and bring him in. If we keep Kane alongside him, I think that'd be a good signing for me. But yeah, no, I'll take Isaac because I take it most new transfers. If it just it's new blood and he'd be one for the future. It would kind of be a typical Tottenham signing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice one for that, Matt. We got Kieran saying, "Who do you want as manager? Don't include Ten Hag or Rodgers." Levy contacted Simon to be the next. Yes, Ian done it, and I reject them today, guys. Don't worry about it. Beloved Hotspur says yes, lads. One love. Chris says Hitchin wants Harry Potter. Yes, apparently Hitchin's the one who's looking for these managers, and it's very worrying. That absolutely very worrying if that story is true. Yes, so that's Alexander Isaac, guys. Alex. A good iron sight on this one, and we've got this one. Alex, just tell us some more about Jacob Anderson.
Yes,
Leon. He's on loan at Fulham at the minute. He's a Leon player. Just tell us a bit more about Anderson.
He's been linked to Tottenham. which I've noticed been quite heavily linked, mainly to Tottenham and a little bit to United. But I think every player in the world gets linked to Man United until their value goes up by 20 million. So the Tottenham ones I'm taking fairly seriously because it's gettable. I think Fulham, if they weren't going down, which all said and done, it looks like they're getting relegated, he probably would have stayed there because he's been very reliable for Fulham, I'd say. Well, reliable for a team that's conceded like an ocean worth of goals. But with Anderson, he'll be going back to Lyon. He'll be worth 25 million. Obviously, Tottenham, that's the figure in the ball. That's the ballpark figure that Tottenham being quoted at, it seems, at least in the British press. And in fairness, I know the main link came from the Sun at first, but the other articles that I've seen have come from a little bit more reliable sources. So there's a bit of tension in this. And I guess for me here to profile him, that you guys watch Tottenham way more than me. So it'd be interesting to see what you guys think if he is the right fit. So I'll give like his bit of a breakdown. So what Joachim Anderson is, Anderson is quite calm on the ball and he doesn't burst into a tackle. In fact, he's quite low in terms of tackles and interceptions in the Fulham squad, and he always has been in his career, whether that's at Lyon or I think it's Sassuolo in Serie A. So he's not going to ground often and he's not putting his foot in too often. I think he relies a lot more positioning and he uses his strength very well because he's quite tall, and it's been shown a few times this season when I've watched him, whether it's been against Timo Werner or Sterling, when they make a heavy touch, he's really good at stepping in front of them and shadowing them out of play. The only thing I'd have a little bit worry of is that he's only won about 50% of his tackles. So I feel like in a higher line, it's untested how reliable he will be. But his big strong suit's in the air. He's won 70% of his headers, which is very, very good for a centre-back. That's quite a way above average. So a player who is good in the air, a little untested 1v1, but very calm and shown to have good positioning and good strength. What's your guys' thoughts? And for 25 million, would you take that?
Oh, I'll take it over to Matt. He absolutely loves this guy. Go on, Matt, you take it away.
No, I like what I've seen of him. I think it would be a similar signing to when we first got Toby Alderweireld. I think he'll go quite under the sort of radar for me, and I think if you can get him for 25 minutes, kind of is a bit of a no-brainer. He's quite good at playing out from the back as well.
That was another thing. Yeah, his passing's really good. That strikes out for Fulham.
Is he left-footed or right-footed?
Oh, good question. I think he is right-footed because I think he plays on the right side.
Yeah. He does.
Yeah, because I think Spurs probably need a more left-sided, a left-sided centre-back since Vertonghen's gone. I mean, if he can do it, then it would do the job. But I think, I'll take him. Obviously, I think he's been really good. The one for me, Simon, I like Sven Botman from Lille because I think he's a left-sided centre-back, and when I've watched him, he's brilliant. I think he'd fill the void since Vertonghen's gone. I think he'd be really good, but he's going to be in high demand, I reckon.
If you get Botman, any team who gets Sven Botman sorted their defence for the rest of at least for 4 or 5 years. So if Tottenham get him, every fan, you guys should just go absolutely crazy because I've watched him every game in Lille, and obviously he's not on my list, so I won't bang on too much about him. But here's a fun fact: it took Sven Botman 8 games, 8 starts, 90 minutes to misplace a pass in France at the age of 20. So he's very good. I've seen videos of this guy since the name's coming in about. I've seen a few videos of this guy, and he does really looks like a real good player. He's got a couple of comments here, guys. Bishop's Kane says this one guy, Alex. Sasa Kaladizic or Kalazak. Plays for Stuttgart. It's a very good pick out from D-Trex there. I think for you guys, he's a Stuttgart striker. He's got about 15 goals and assists in the Bundesliga this season, but it's his first campaign, so I think it's a bit of a gamble to get him in now. So I'd say leave him for a year.
Right, here we go. Dietrich, that's what Alex thinks. Kellen says Anderson and Botman partnership.
Oh, that'd be a dream.
in the dreams.
That would be a good dream. Simon, do you think Anderson and Toby would be a good partnership? Yeah, I think Toby Nance. But Toby, I think he's getting on now. He's 33. We need I think we need 2 in the summer. Digits Kane says, I don't want Anderson. I'd rather have Milinkovic, leader, good on the ball, and his stats are amazing. Botman is left-footed, fast, big, or Del Morel, old school centre back, and a monster on 1v1. And I'd rather have Joffit. Right, okay. Just quickly on Anderson. As I said, he's 24. He played for I think the 20s. Is it FC20 from Dutch?
Yes, FC20.
Yeah, but he's in the second division. He played 40 appearances for that team there with no goals, and he went to actually the first team for FC20. Had 44 appearances there, scoring 4 goals. He went to Sampdoria, 34 appearances there, no goals, and he went to Lyon with 32 appearances, 2 goals. Now he's on loan at Fulham, 26 appearances and 1 goal. He's played for Denmark 4 times. So yeah, quite a good figures there. He's played a lot of games for everywhere he's gone. So I would say he's quite a more of a senior defender than what he is with his age at 24. Looks like he's played a lot of football abroad. Alex, do you think this one, because Tottenham have got problems about this is the area we have to 100% in the summer. We got to go get 1 or 2 centre backs. Is this someone that we should be looking at, or do you reckon there's 1 or 2 over him?
I think he should be shortlisted. I do think there's other players out there who are better. I think all 3 of Dietrich's suggestions of Milenkovic, Botman, or Demiral, they'd all be very, very good. It's just whether, like we were saying before, if Tottenham can get those players, absolutely. But if you're coming into the last 2 weeks, then Anderson would be a very good player. Like, he's not gonna. I don't think he'll elevate Tottenham to Premier League winners, but I think he's a top 4 player, Champions League player. So he'd be a good player to start. But if you can get one of the sensational centre backs around Europe, absolutely. But he's better than a panic buy on deadline day. That's what I'll say. So I think definitely deserves to be on the shortlist. Yeah,
absolutely, mate. And Kieran says the question for you there, Alex. Are Spurs targeting this?
It's Spurs targeting Nkunku. I was looking at Spurs transfer news recently. I haven't seen. I think I saw something about Nkunku at Killian. I'm not too sure. I haven't seen any concrete things, but I will say that Leipzig tend to let players go after 3 or 4 years. So Nkunku's been at Leipzig for a couple of years, I think, 2 to 3 years. Probably worth getting. I think his value is a little lower at the moment than it deserves to be. So if getting Nkunku might be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ted. Nice one, Alex. There, we've got Bob Spur. Thanks for tuning in, pal. Get over to Bob and his channel, guys. Smash the sub on that one, guys. Anderson will need Toby alongside him. And big up, lads. Yes, thanks, Bob's. Nice one for that, mate. And evening, Carlos. Thanks for coming in, pal. Sorry, go on to the next one. We've gone to the next one, guys, which is this guy here. This guy here. Give us some more. Give us some more insight. This guy. I've never seen him play. And yeah,
this is rather than Isaac, who was. I think he's been linked to clubs around Europe, probably Tottenham, and rather than Anderson, who's definitely linked.
Alex, sorry, mate. How do you pronounce that name?
It's Yassine Adli. Yassine Adli. Yes.
Yassine
so
Adli.
Yassine Adli, rather than the other 2 have been linked to Tottenham, this guy I've picked out myself because he plays for Bordeaux in France. And Bordeaux, I'm not sure if any of you guys know, any guys in the comments know, but Bordeaux's owners have basically said, we are not funding you anymore. So the whole club's been put into disarray. Now, Adli has been a long, talented French talent in Ligue 1. He's 20 years old at the moment. I think he turns 21 in June, or a bit later this year at least. And he's been touted for a long time for high potential. Like at one point, he was on the same level as Mbappe. Not Mbappe now, but when they were both breaking out, Adli was seen as one of the top talents in France. And he started a little bit, but he's really regained his season. And Bordeaux will be open to letting players go because they literally need cash. And Adli, I'll tell you what he is. So he's a midfielder, central midfielder, who previously has played a bit further up the field, but this season's dropped deeper, and it's shown he gets a lot of industry done. He gets about the same amount of tackles and interceptions as Højbjerg, but he's a fantastic passer, which is what really stands out. Fantastic passer and dribbler. At the age of 20, he's completed nearly 70% of his dribbles, which is really good for any young player, especially in midfield. And Adley's passing, he's basically the best passer in Bordeaux in terms of getting the ball up the pitch, into the box, down the wings, into the final third. For someone that young and so talented, I think the figure previously would have been 20 to 30 mil, but genuinely it could be around 10. Could be 10 or less. And I'm not sure if he'll start straight away for Tottenham, but he will absolutely be a Premier League player, in my opinion, in the future. And I think any club who doesn't get in for him is making a big mistake. If Tottenham can get in early, I think they've got a centre midfielder akin to Dembele. When Moussa Dembele was in his prime and carrying Tottenham up the pitch with his dribbling ability, you'll get someone like that in Adley. Wow,
Jesus Christ. He's as you said, mate, he sounded a really good player. Reminds me of the guy who played for PSG and now he's at Juve. I forgot his name.
Rabiot,
yeah. He's a similar player. He's an attacking midfielder. Is that correct? He's an attacking midfielder sort of type player.
Yeah. They've got the same hairstyle as well. Easy comparison.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, he's age 20 there. He did play for 17-19. The 17 season to the 19 season, he played for PSG B team, 20 appearances, scoring 4 goals, and he played for PSG first team, only one appearance, and that's when he went on to Bordeaux, and he's made 57 appearances and 4 goals. So he's yet again a youngster, and he's played a lot of football as well. So he's getting really. And before we get on to Matt, we'll see what Matt thinks about this guy. Bob says, would Madrid pay off some wages just to get Bale off their books? I'd love to keep him, but not for 220k. Do you know anything about this, Alex?
Yes, Madrid are hilariously in a financial mess. Like if Barcelona wasn't in the situation they were, Real Madrid would be the laughing stock of the world. And they'd need to sell. Well, they don't necessarily need to sell to keep the club afloat. But Perez will need to bring in players to update this Real Madrid team, and he can only do that if he starts selling. And they have no reason to. They have no reason to keep paying Bale. So I do think Bob's has got a point there. It's definitely in the realms of possibility that Madrid make some sort of decision when they go, okay, Tottenham, we're going to give you this lump sum just to pay off this amount of Bale's wages, and then I hope there's a reality where Gareth Bale says, I'm not going to earn a stupid amount a week, but I'll be able to play football again. So, yeah. I think there is some hope for Tottenham fans in regards to the Bale saga.
Oh, nice one, Alex. I hope that answers the question there, Bob's. Kidden says, Alex, news on Daniel Eric takeover at Arsenal.
Oh, I'm less clued up on. Yeah, I've seen probably the same stuff you guys have seen. I'm torn between whether it's a publicity stunt, or it might be. I've seen suggestions that it could be something really clever, and he is just trying to put public pressure on Stan Kroenke to get him out. And I guess if that does reach a fever pitch, maybe it happens, but it's hard to tell. Right,
here we go, Colin. Bob says, "Let me know if taking guests later, buddy." Okay, Bob's. Nice one, Bob's. Matt, before we get on to the next one, what Alex said about this guy here, is it something that he's 20 years old and said he's played a lot of games for 20 years old. Is this something that Tottenham could be looking into in the summer or in the future, or do you reckon we're all right in that position?
No, we need another centre midfielder because I can't see him being. He's probably going to be easily better than Sissoko, so he's going to be running a lot more. If he's young, he's going to press. You can mould a player. When they're a bit younger, he's going to run for the team. He'll give it his all. So yeah, I think if the way we've been obviously spoke about him, and he's good on the ball. He's good at passing. Sounds to me like a better Harry Winks.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, if I could, sounds like he would be better than Winks, Simon. So, yeah, and if you can get him for 10 million, then I don't think Spurs are going to go mad this summer, but it just shows you that there are going to be clubs that are in a bad financial situation and they're going to have to sell a bit cheaper, and that's where you've got to be smart in this transfer window because we can get some good business done. I look at Leicester, what they've done. They don't spend ridiculous amounts. They just recruit well, and they go and get youngsters and then mould them. I think the thing for me is it's hard for me to go, I want him until I know who the manager's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see where you're coming from there, Matt. Nice one, mate. We've got Cenk Coys. Yes, Cenk. Yes, guys. Thanks for tuning in, pal. Daniel Egg is preparing a bid for this week 1.8 billion, apparently, telefootball, and Emery is backed this on Sky Monday Night Football. So I do think it's real. Chris says, what about Danny Omel?
Olmo.
Yeah.
I don't think he's leaving Leipzig anytime yet, Chris. But if anyone could get him, it would be a good purchase. Yeah,
absolutely. T-shirts Kane says one mid we need to buy. This dude is he from Lyon? Is it
from Lille, isn't he?
Soumare.
Yeah.
I represent a different opinion on Boubakary Soumare, and I saw Killian asked it in the comments too. I think so. Soumare, don't want to go too into it, but the short of it is, he's a midfielder for Lille. He was their third choice midfielder, and he's grown into their second choice midfielder. He's a good passer, decent dribbler, okay defensively. He's a bit like Yassine Adli in many ways, I think. Where I would put him on the same level, but instead of paying 10 million for Adli, imagine you paying 30 to 40 million. That's the figure put him back. Soumare, if anyone might remember, he's the guy that Newcastle had like a bid of 50 million accepted, and he personally rejected it. And I think Soumare's, while he's promising, I think he's hilariously overpriced. And if Lille are, we're getting on to another Lille player in a bit, but they're likely to sell this summer, and I think they're going to try and persuade all the top clubs to go for Soumare, and hopefully if they sell Soumare, they don't have to sell anyone else. So I think anyone who buys Soumare first has made a bit of an error, in my opinion.
Right, here we go. You heard it first from Alex. He's not very keen on that guy, and is split interest in Spurs. I don't know what Alex's opinions on that one.
I've heard from sources, the source close to me, that I don't know how reliable it is, that apparently he is seriously interested in it. But I don't think you should go for Flick. I think it'd be quite a horrible appointment.
Right, here we go. We should not go after him. We'll go on to this one next. This one is this the
Zeki Celik.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us more about this player.
Yeah. So we were just mentioning about Soumare at Lille. This is one player that it will be gettable, like most players at Lille, but I think is the hidden gem. So he's a right back. He's not as attacking as Serge Aurier, and he's not as defensive as Branislav Ivanovic. There's your ballpark. He's quite average attacking wise, all right? But what he is, he's very reliable in defence. And when Lille have played him this season, he's been brilliant. In fact, in 18 games, he's kept 10 clean sheets. So, yeah, Lille have got the best defence in Europe, but still, Celik has been a big part of that when he's been able to play. He did have a bit of an injury mid-season, but nothing too serious and nothing too reoccurring. Celik is a Turkish guy. He's just turned 24 years old this year. So he's looking very good at Lille. He's been tied a long time, just with nothing too exceptional, but reliable, which I think is what Tottenham need. And I have seen, he's been linked to Tottenham as well as other clubs that in the same sort of headline. So I don't know how serious the links are between those clubs. So I'm not going to claim it's like nailed on or anything. But with Celik, it would be, like I said, I just think with Tottenham, they've had Aurier have one performance that's great, and then the next performance, like you forget he's a professional footballer. And you've had Trippier lose his legs. I just think you want Celik, you want a reliable defender who is going to be there for a few years, who is not going to ruin your matches. And I think Celik would do that with the potential of turning into a top quality Premier League right back. So yeah, I think I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on Celik, but I think he'd be a very good player. And in terms of price, you could probably get him for. I haven't got an actual figure here, but with Lille, it's hard to tell because they are in a bit of a financial mess. And besides Sumari, the price tags are a bit lower. So maybe I would say 20 million a max for this guy, Zeki Celik.
Bloody hell.
Jesus Christ.
I picked the bargain.
There, Warrior, and go and get him. There you go.
So I'll give you a little bit of a thing. Yeah, Zelik is a right back, as Alex said. He's age 24. Istanbul, I think that's in the Turkish league. He made 64 appearances, scoring three goals in between 16 and 18. And in 2018 to present, he joined Lille, 83 appearances, scoring 4 goals. And for Turkey, 14 appearances and scoring 2 goals. So yet again, another guy at 24 has played over 150 games for a couple of teams and international as well. Matt, what's your insight on getting this guy? What Alex said there, it sounds like a bargain. £20 million, and as he said, Lille's probably got one of the best. Is it Lille? Yeah, got one of the best teams. One of the best defenses in Europe. So, would you take him over Serge?
Yeah, I've seen him before. I've heard about him sort of a year or 2 years ago. I think Alex has nailed it spot on. I don't think Spurs need, really attacking right back. I think we just need someone who's going to be solid, does the job, helps the defence out, maybe chips in with, an assist now and again. Is he good with goal scoring? Will he chip in with goals? I mean,
he'll chip in. At the moment, he's chipping in sporadically. So he's got 3 goals this season. He's got a really good volley at the weekend, actually.
He's got 4. He's got 4.
Oh, yeah. So now it's updated to 4, I think. But he's not like a Ricardo Pereira, someone who's like running the attack, or like a Hakimi. But he's decent in the attack. Like he's a bit more. I'd say he's more damaging up front than Azpilicueta.
Okay. Right. So he's not a headless chicken either. He's pretty solid.
Absolutely not. Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, mate. I want a new right back. So yeah,
that's it, Matty. That's it.
20 million. I mean, that's not that much.
Absolutely. And Alex, I'd like to see your prediction on this one. Killian says Celik or Aarons. Do you know much on Aarons at Norwich?
I haven't watched him as much, but I know his stats. And the guy below Dtrex has asked about Celik, and the same question: Celik, Aarons, or Emerson? Emerson, I think he's referring to the right back at Betis on loan from Barcelona, who's had a great season as well. I think with Aarons, it's hard to tell because he's had 1 season in the Premier League, right? And he's played majority of time in his Championship. I know Bayern are interested, but Bayern also signed Bouna Sarr, which is like the biggest waste of money I've seen in a very long time. So it's not to say Aarons is like bad or unreliable or anything like that. Like I said, I haven't watched him play enough, but I just think Celik would be a more sensible purchase and probably a lot cheaper because he hasn't got he's not English, so it won't cost an extra 10 to 15 million just because of his nationality.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice one for that, mate. And Dietrich Kane says, remember Mourinho wanted Celik, and Alex, who do you think is better, Celik or Aarons or Emerson?
Yeah. So just touching on your Dietrich there, yeah. So I think Celik is probably better than Aarons. Emerson, I've watched a bit more than Aarons, and he's looked really, really good at Betis, but I need to watch him a bit more. Maybe he's on a level par with Celik, but I think he'll cost a lot more because he's on loan from Barcelona.
Right. How about Tavernier from Rangers? He's
I actually like him. He's pretty decent. I know he's in the Scottish League, but his numbers are pretty good.
So that's that guy there. And we go on to this guy here, wherever he is. It's this guy here. Alex, just tell us more about this guy.
Yes, Roman Yaremchuk. Another one I've picked out from the depths of of European football. This guy's from the Belgian league. So this is more of, if Harry Kane stays, you want a striker who is not Carlos Vinicius and is more likely to score, like the Fernando Llorente type, who you can come on and think, okay, I have a bit of hope now. Tottenham can win this game. Tottenham can come through here. Now, Yaremchuk is a Ukraine forward. He's turning 26 in November. He plays against, and he's got 18 goals and 6 assists in 29 starts for Ghent. And he scored for the national team too, against Germany, I believe, as well. To describe his play style, he's quite tall. He's fairly bow-footed. He's not very quick. Not say he's super slow or anything, but he's not a speedster. He's not like Isaac. What he relies on is good positioning and very, very good attacking movement. That's the thing that strikes out about him. He's fantastic at peeling off a defender and finding space inside the box. So I think that would be really good for Tottenham, just as another player to throw on who you can rely on to get into a position to score. Because I think from watching teams like Chelsea this season, especially, like there's so many times a ball gets put to the back post or a ball goes across the goal mouth and no one's there to finish it. With Yaremchuk, he's always there. And because he's coming from Belgium, it'd be a little bit of a risk. Again, he wouldn't be costing more than like 20 million, mainly because his nationality and league he's coming from and his age is only 25. But with that, I just think it'd be a sensible gamble. Because I think he's guaranteed to get a few goals for Tottenham if he joins. And he's not going to be asking to play over Harry Kane. But he'd be in that nice level where he's not Vinicius, where it feels like a complete like backup, where you only play him on an emergency occasion. With Yaremchuk, he could step in, but when you have a world-class striker like Kane, he's not going to complain. He'd be happy coming off the bench to contribute late on. Right,
absolutely. Nice one for Alex. He said, yeah, he's a striker, guys. He's age 25. In 2012-13, played for Dynamo Kiev. 9 appearances and no goals. That was for the second team, and he went on to play for the first team. 42 appearances, 7 goals. And he went on to Genk from 17 up to present, 115 appearances with 44 goals. And for Ukraine, 19 appearances and 6 goals. So yeah, he does chip in with goals. He has played a lot of football as well for 25. Matt, we'll come to you first, mate. Is this someone that lights up something that we want in the summer, or is there someone like Vinicius that you probably can say is probably similar to this guy?
I mean, I haven't seen enough of this guy to give my actual opinion. You looked at, he could just be one that comes in and because he hasn't got as much pressure. He's a name not heard of. He comes in and just tears the Premier League up. You might just get lucky that end. I do think we need to maybe show a bit more ambition than that, though. That's my personal opinion. But it just depends, like I say, who's going to be the manager, where we finish. So maybe this is the question when we know the end of the season and what the hell's going on.
Yeah, nice one, Matt. And Alex, did you say that he won't be happy like playing second fiddle to?
No, I think he will be. I think he will be. I think he'll be happy. Yeah, I think he'd be happy to play Premier League football because he's not a youngster aspiring to be at the top. I think what the good thing about him is that he's the sort of purchase I'd put forward if Tottenham have sorted out their other issues, mainly in defence, and they've got money left over, and they've still got Harry Kane in the team. So they're not looking for a striker who's going to compete with him, like someone who's also world-class level because they won't have the money. Just someone to come in and potentially chip in with 5 to 10 Premier League goals a season, just to propel Tottenham that little extra step, a lot more than Vinicius is doing. And like I said, he'd be happy to, I reckon, he'd be happy to play for Tottenham and in the Premier League. And I don't think he'd be looking to be a 30-game-a-season striker.
Would you, quickly before we introduce Bob, would you take him over Vinicius for next season sometime? If this is some sort of we're going to bring in, would you take him over Vinicius?
Is that for me?
Yeah, Alex. Yeah,
I take him over Vinicius because I've just been so disappointed with what I've seen of him this season that I just think he'd be, like I said, he's a little bit of a gamble, but I think he'd just be a bit. He offers a lot more than Vinicius. Vinicius feels like a pole you stick in the box and throw balls into and just hope. And it feels like whenever he's on the pitch, the game plan is that, and it's quite uninspiring. Whereas Yaremchuk, He's a lot better in the final third. He is tall, so he does offer that aerial threat, but he's also, forgot to mention, he's very good in build-up play. So very good linking up with teammates, which I think that would also provide well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll welcome Bob's. How's it going, Bob's from Bob's
Yeah,
TV?
fantastic. Yeah, so good, mate. I can't. I mean, I only put it on to see what you guys were chatting about, and then Alex, as normal, has enticed me in and talking about all these fancy players. So I had to come on.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Alex. Good to see you, Matt. You're right, buddy.
Yeah, not bad, mate. You?
Yeah, good. Yeah, just following on
Bob,
from.
Bob,
Sorry, mate.
Just give us your. Have you seen this? A lot of this guy, this Roman guy here, this striker.
I know of him, but like Matt, I've not seen him play that much. But I mean, it's more about first of all, let me just say this because a lot of people will be shouting down my neck. I still truly believe it's irrelevant who we talk about and who we're going to bring in until we get the board sorted. The board are the main fucking problem. We need to get that sorted. But having said that, there is a conversation to be made with regards to players and managers as well, because eventually we will need a manager and eventually we will need players as well. And obviously, Alex has come out with a few names which we should all consider. Do you guys agree with regards to the profile of a striker that we're looking for? Because the likes of Ings, Vinicius, Roman, Jovic, all these players are very. Please disagree with me, but to me, they all seem very Kane-esque, very similar. Whereas for me, when things are going not very well and you need someone to come on to give that support to Kane, for me, it's someone small and nippy. A Defoe in his prime, or a Michael Owen. Obviously, we're not going to get Michael Owen, but you know what the kind of profile I'm saying. For me, we should be looking at players with that profile, or do you think for a Kane backup we need an exact Kane? Because obviously we've got the option of playing Son on top, but I think he's more effective down the left. But what do you reckon? Do you reckon we should be looking at a different sort of profile?
I think I agree and disagree in some parts, because I think it's spot on with Kane needs support when a nippy player to come up front and make the runs off of him, things like that. Because obviously Kane's, especially this season, has done so well with his vision passing in behind. But I guess the argument to that would be with Tottenham, you already have players like Lucas Moura who could step on and go up front and perform that role. Just for me at least. And then, but I agree. I'm not inspired by players like Danny Ings coming in. I don't think Tottenham necessarily need a Kane, like a specific Kane replacement. Because at that point, what you're shopping for is, okay, let's buy a striker who's slightly worse, but exactly the same as our current striker. I agree. I don't feel the point in that. I feel what Tottenham need is someone a bit more versatile who can either replace Kane to an extent or play with him. So someone maybe like Vinicius, who is tall and can offer a bit more aerial threat, but also someone who can make the runs off of them. They don't have to be exceptional, but just more well-rounded.
Yeah, I mean, I use this as an example, and there's by the way, West Ham are winning 2-1 now. All of a sudden, I know Matt's looking up at the game, but I use this as an example, and these two players we're never going to get. But for me, he'll look more effective in my eyes, in my personal opinion. Lewandowski and Mbappe are two of the world-class strikers. I think he'll be more effective alongside Mbappe than he would do alongside Lewandowski, purely and simply because of the different, and they're both world-class. So that's only my opinion. But I think every striker you've mentioned. Have you spoken about Jovic yet? Or
I haven't spoken about Jovic, but I think he'd be a good person to come in.
Bob's, what it was, mate. When I got Alex on, I did ask Alex. I did ask Alex for 5 players across Europe. So I've done my info on it, and I've got the pictures up. But there is I think Alex has got a couple of players before he goes off. He's got a couple of players that he wants to talk about. I
know you've briefly touched on it as well with regards to Bale. Can I just ask one question about that? Will Madrid? Because I think Simon and Matt both probably would love Bale next season, but if it means us spending that wages, instead of and means us not getting a defender in, I think we'll be sitting back thinking we're not sure about it. So how likely? I know you said it is likely, but how likely? With Madrid not having any money, would they be in a position to pay off? Well, we are talking millions, aren't we, with regards to bringing this? Because what we want is Bale, in layman terms, to get a big, large lump sum and him to go down to 150, 160 a week.
Yeah.
How much of a possibility is that, mate?
I think it's kind of like a two-pronged thing, right? So it's like how possible is it from a Madrid perspective and how possible is it from Tottenham? I think Madrid, it is extremely possible because they, like I said, they're looking to cut. They're looking to make funds because they need to bring players in for their squad. And Bale is like, I think when Madrid fans or the Madrid board think of making money and cutting funds, they think of Gareth Bale, someone who for the past 3 years they've been trying to get rid of. So I think the possibility of coming to an agreement, especially with Tottenham on the line for Bale, I think it's really possible just because I think before the hitch was that Bale was being shipped off to places like China, and he was like, "Whoa, hold on now, I don't want to move to there." But with the potential going to Tottenham, I think I think him and Madrid be able to come to some sort of agreement, which would help Tottenham. But I on the aspect of you kind of mentioned there, should Tottenham spend the money on Bale's wages or bring someone else in? I'm kind of leaning. I know from the emotional perspective, especially after he scored a hat trick. Yeah, like bringing Bale back home, it's great. If I was completely neutral, I would be thinking I could probably get in 2 or 3 players in rather than spending so much money on Bale. That's just the other flip. Yeah, that's just the other flip side of it. But I guess that's more of a decision for the people analysing Gareth Bale's legs and seeing how fit they are to decide.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt. That's all I wanted to know. Because you know what my mind's like. I always fucking forget.
Not a problem, Bob. Alex, the last one on the list was this one, Ryan Sessegnon. Give us some updates on this player, mate.
Yeah, because I just wanted to touch on. I thought coming on the top of the show, I wanted to make sure bring a lot more of Tottenham ground to him. We could talk about the players that could come to Tottenham. We're talking about a player that is definitely at least coming back to Tottenham. Maybe it'll be for 5 minutes, maybe for 5 years. We're not sure. But Sessegnon, I just wanted to touch on his progress in the Bundesliga. So I've been watching him at Hoffenheim, and statistically he doesn't show up well, which isn't his fault. He's only got 2 goals and 2 assists, and he's played as a left-back/left wing-back. But may I say, Hoffenheim have been dreadful this season. They've been awful to watch. So Sessegnon suffered from being in that team, at least like numbers-wise. But in recent games, he's performed a lot more consistently. So he's less attackingly bold, so he's not creating many chances. He's not making as many dribbles down the line, but he's become a lot more reliable at the back. And he even said it himself recently. He said the big improvement he's found in his game that he's become calmer on the ball and less hasty. And I think it's just something to report on because I think with Sessegnon, like watching him, like I said, defensively he's a lot better. At the beginning of the season, he was only winning about 20 to 30% of his tackles, which is appalling. But he's up to that, and he's got 4 starts in the last 4 games. He started each one of Hoffenheim's last 4 games. So with Sessegnon, it looks like he's returning to the sort of Fulham levels, the reason Tottenham even brought him in. And as defensively he's improved, which I think will make him a lot more versatile coming back. For whatever Tottenham manager will come in, they can now consider playing him as a left back, when before it felt like it was, all right, there is no way we could play this guy at left back. So he's become a bit more well-rounded.
So Alex, would you say he'll be beneficial for staying another year at Hoffenheim, or do you think he's ready to come back into the fold at Tottenham?
Hoffenheim specifically, no, because I'm not too sure on the direction of that club. But I think another year on loan, might do him some good. Because I still think bringing him back, even though I think he's good enough to start for Tottenham in some capacity, like you don't know if he'll hold that position down. The worst thing you can do to him right now is give him another year on the bench. I think he needs to keep playing football because right now it's doing him good. So hopefully he goes on. Maybe, like I think it'd be good for him to go on loan again to another big club, maybe a club in the Premier League, maybe a team like Norwich or someone, whoever comes up, might be good for him.
Absolutely. Bobs and Matt will quickly touch on Session before I want to get on before Alex goes off. A couple of things I want to ask Alex. Matt, we'll come to you first. Session, as what Alex was saying there, he could probably do with going out on loan for another one for next season. Would you bring him back, or would you send him back on loan? As what Alex said, Hoffenheim's not having a great year. We can probably send him out somewhere else, someone like a Norwich coming up to the Premier League, something like that. Is that something that we should be looking at?
I think potentially getting back, see what manager we get in, give him a pre-season, maybe give him a couple of games, give him a run out. For me, he looks like he's bulked out a bit more. He's not looking as skinny as he once was from what I've seen of him. And I have seen some strong performances, of him defending for Hoffenheim and him celebrating like tackles and sort of, when they grind out a 1-1 victory, and he's there, showing passion. So it's a tough one. I think, maybe wait, see what he does in pre-season. If he impresses, get a loan or something like that, or the manager, whoever it is, might fancy him and go, right, let's have him from the off. It might give Region a bit of a kick up the backside. It's competition. So I think you look at someone like Manchester City. So you look at their whole squad, everyone's competing. So I think we need as many players back who can push other players on. This is why I want the likes of Oliver Skip to come back in and not go out on loan, because he can come in and give either Sissoko or Winks a kick up the arse. And if you're not going to get your bum in gear, I'm coming in and I'm having you. We need that competition to take us to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Nice one for that, Matt. Bob's.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think. Matt's on fire tonight. I think we also need to consider the facts. And Alex, please tell me if I'm wrong. But if Reguilon wants to go back to Madrid and Madrid want him back, we haven't got a say in the matter, have we?
No, you haven't. There's no clauses. Oh yeah. Wait, it's not a loan, is it? It's still a purchase, but it's the buyback, isn't it?
It's the buyback, They've got the option of, and I think that they could trigger that after the first year. So at the end of the season, there's every chance, and I've got a funny feeling there's every chance we might be losing Reguilon. There might be suitors out there who might be looking at him thinking, you know what, let's contact Real Madrid and say, look, do you fancy selling us your left back for 60 million? Okay, let's find out. Obviously, the last say is with Reguilon as well, but from his performances of late and some murmurs, I'm not sure. But the reason why I bring that up, there's a lot of people who want Davis out of the club. Reguilon is always, you still don't know. So surely we need that backup regardless, even if he's going to start or not start. We need an extra body in that left-handed side. Anyway, don't we? With left back or right wing? What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I think Sassin will be a good backup, especially since he's been playing more in a back like three, so as a wing back. So I guess it offers something a bit different to Tottenham, who've predominantly played as a 4-2-3-1, right? So it might be a really good option for bringing back, kind of like Chelsea with Alonso and Chilwell, like having two left backs who do two different things. So yeah, might be a good idea.
Yeah,
absolutely. So Alex, is there any other players on your list that you think Tottenham be interested in? I know what Bob's saying. We need to sort out this ball, but we need to look if there's any talent out there.
Of course.
If there's anyone on the list, Alex.
I'll tell you what. Beforehand, I've spent the last few days looking because what I do, I like to do. I do profiles on different players around Europe, and I try and look for the ones who've been linked to clubs. And I will say Tottenham's headlines. There was that one about Joachim Anderson, and it's been dominated by your manager thing, and what's happening there. So I'm happy if you want someone to talk about managers. I've got a few things to say on them.
Yeah, go on, Alex. Far away, pal.
So obviously the ones being linked, I feel sorry for you guys because the ones you've been linked to at the moment, in this current moment, as in Gareth Southgate. No. Eddie Howe. No. They're not up to Tottenham level at the moment. Well, Southgate, in my opinion, isn't just full stop. He's not up to Tottenham level. Eddie Howe needs a bit more time. And I feel sorry for Tottenham in terms of, obviously you're in for Nagelsmann, and he signed for Bayern. And then Erik ten Hag, apparently in for him, but he's been negotiating that contract extension for Ajax for a very long time. And it was strange because I'm good friends with the people at Football Orangi, the Eredivisie English football page. And as soon as the Erik ten Hag rumour first came out, Leicester was like, not happening. He's staying at Ajax. And yeah, it was quite interesting to see that unfold. But I think Tottenham are looking in, if the rumours are true, I think they're looking in the wrong areas. So there's a couple of managers that I'd like to single out. Graham Potter, I think, would be, name-wise, I don't think it's going to commercially do well. Graham Potter from Brighton.
Yeah, both different, yeah.
But
go on.
Graham Potter, I think he'd do a good job at Tottenham. He's a good coach. Brighton should be way better than they are at the moment. I've never seen a team have worse finishing in my entire life. It is genuinely a shock season. It won't happen again. If Potter stays at Brighton next season, Brighton will be in the top 10, guaranteed. So I think if they were to get him in, he might not get him Champions League football right away, but I think he'd be a very good coach in the future. And the other one is, I don't know why they're not trying, at least, or haven't even contacted. And if I could tell, we would have known if they contacted, because in France the rumours are they've not got a very good cap on the press. You probably know I'm about to say Christophe Galtier at Lille.
Yeah.
This is the guy that is considering a proposal from OGC Nice, who are currently 9th in Ligue 1. They've been a bit of a shambles for the past 3 years. They have got a good project at the moment, but he's considering stepping down from the team that he's cultivated to win Ligue 1 to 9th place. If Tottenham would get Galtier in, it'd be a fantastic appointment. And I really hope for you guys that we start to see Tottenham make a proposal. Because genuinely, as someone who's watched Lille the entire season, the only thing that would be questionable about hiring Galtier is how good is his English. And even then, Pochettino's English wasn't exactly brilliant when he joined Tottenham. So I don't think that's much of a barrier. And he's in his 50s. He's experienced, but he's still got an eye for talent. He likes playing youngsters. Get Christophe Galtier in, Daniel Levy, please.
I think the biggest thing about Galtier, isn't it, Alex, is the fact, like I just mentioned, he does like working with young players, and he does bring out a bit of extra oomph out of youngsters. He makes them into men pretty early on, and of course he has made some players at Lille better players than what they were when he first got there. With regards to, that was one of my concerns as well, the language barrier. But let's not forget, Pochettino had an interpreter, didn't he, when he was at Southampton for the first couple of seasons, or first season or so. His first English interview was actually when he joined Tottenham. So we hadn't heard him speak English till he actually joined Tottenham, because like I say, the seasons at Southampton, he always had an interpreter. So I think it's a universal language anyway, football, and as long as he can say shoot, run, pass, and oh fuck, you're pretty much there.
Alex, someone who's at Lille, Campos, is the director of football there. Is there something that, if we can get this manager in, someone like Campos can follow?
Yes, please say yes.
Or would he not work under Daniel Levy? Is that the catch?
Well, you set this up quite well, because this will be my final word on it, and I think you're going to like it. Yeah. I think he'd happily work under Daniel Levy. He has, obviously, Levy's got the reputation of being, and you guys know better than me, he's got the reputation of being a hard dealer that takes a long time over a purchase. But at Lille, they've not exactly been cash rich. In fact, most of the money they've spent has been off the back of sales they've made. And Campos has overran probably the best scouting network in all of Europe. I mean, if you look at the players they've brought in, like you forget the Hazards, you forget the Nicolas Pepes. They've found Gervinho, they found Dimitri Payet, they found Victor Osimhen, They found Gabriel. They found so many players. Divock Origi, it keeps coming off the top of your head. Yves Bissouma at Brighton. The litany of talent they've cultivated there and brought through there is endless. And I think if Gaultier was to go to Tottenham, wherever Gaultier goes, I think Campos would be eager to follow because they've got a really good relationship. Campos leaving wasn't much of his fault. It's just because Lille were in a bit of a financial mess. So I think wherever Gaultier goes, strong chance of Campos following him.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Any of the players as well?
Potentially, yes, as well. Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Matt, just quickly on that, on Campos and Gaultier might be coming to Tottenham. Well, maybe if Spurs show an interest, it could be a good appointment. That's what Alex said there. Would you be interested in bringing both of them to the club?
You're mute, mate. You're a mute, mate.
No.
That's the best Matt has ever sounded.
Can you hear us, Matt?
Is it the alarm that's kicked it out? Is it the alarm? Just reset it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Got it, Matt. You just said.
Yeah, no, I think I'd be, I don't want to get too excited. I think a Campos I think he'd help our problems massively. As much as I, don't like the board and things like that, I think the problem has been recruitment. I think if you look, the money has been actually spent. It's been wasted a hell of a lot of the time. If you look at Lille, they spend very smartly, and they've lost massive players like Victor Osimhen, quality, striker for them. They've replaced him, and they're going on to win the league now. It's, but yeah, I think for me, Gaultier, I like Potter, like I've said. I think Alex made good points. Simon, I know you don't like him, but if he had a foreign name, if Graham Potter had a foreign name, I reckon he'd be like more highly thing. I could imagine what he can do. He can do with Welbeck and Mope. What could he do with Kane, Bale, and Son? This is, I think it would be potentially very good, and he could bring like a Yves Bissouma with him, a Lewis Dunk, a Ben White, who I think would be in our defence for years to come.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got some good points there, Matty. I don't think we agree on some. I think that's Alex.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
Yeah.
Send me a little
Alex,
there.
cheers, mate.
Absolutely fantastic to have you on, mate. We'll definitely have you back on for some more insight on some of this talent, mate. Absolutely, mate. I'll give you another buzz, and we'll get you back on. Absolutely, Alex. Thank you for your
Alex, mate.
Thanks for having me on,
insight.
Cheers,
over you, mate. Nice
Bye-bye.
one. Thank you very much, pal.
Cheers, bud.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Some good
names.
insight there.
Good names. Yeah.
Some good names there, and he went on to say, guys, that the actual Ten Hag, the deal it's been going for ages. This extra contract, this extra thing. So it wasn't just a spur of the moment thing. So there you go.
Would you guys take Chris Wood at Spurs, the Burnley striker? I actually think he's underrated.
He's had a good first half, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's really, and he's a bully, and he gets himself about. I think
numbers. Yeah, he'd be good to come in the squad, wouldn't he, Matt?
Yeah, I think, and he put himself about. I think he's like kind of like Cat, nowhere near as good. Don't get me wrong, but what could he do in a better team than Burnley with the attack that we would have? I think it would be a different alternative, but
yeah, I mean, players. There's so many we're linked with, matey, and you guys. I know you're a massive fans of Bissouma, and I'd have him in a him over. I mean, have you guys spoken about Ndombele? Do you know what's going on there? Any thoughts?
So I've heard from Alistair Gold. He did a thing earlier that Ndombele is very happy, and he knows he's got a potentially, he's been dropped sort of thing, but because he's got to step up his game again, he's let his levels drop, and I think but he says he's very happy, but it's just his levels have slightly gone down, and he's the type of player that wants to become better, so he kind of he's happy that he's sitting on the bench at the moment, and to be fair, I mean, it's been the right decision. You know, we won last night, didn't we? You know, I thought Dele Alli had a good game. So, well, to his standard, anyway.
Well, yeah, 4-0 against a team already relegated, mate. I think that should be the least we expect. But.
I know, but you know, we're looking at Sheffield United. They haven't been thrashed much, only twice.
Yeah.
So Leicester beaten 5-0.
True.
We've beaten 4-0. They literally lose 1-0 or 2-1. It's
true. Yeah,
I think,
you're right, mate. Yeah.
I think a lot of people just discredit it. You know,
it's a Premier League game.
Bale only gets hat tricks and 2 goals against the, you know, so-called, you know, bad teams in the Premier League. To be honest, it's not really a bad team in the Premier League. Everyone could beat anyone on the day. That's the beauty of the league at the moment this season.
The only concern for me for Bale was he wasn't getting minutes. And this is down to Jose, of course. You know my feelings towards Jose, but he never gave him a chance against the bigger teams. But when he did, he never took it with both. But then again, how do you?
He didn't play him consistently, though. Did
exactly.
He? Exactly.
What do you expect from one?
That's something I can't forgive, to be honest.
Interesting thoughts here as well, Matt. I don't know what you think, but do you think Danny Rose, what he said in that meeting room with Jose about you're playing shit players, you're not giving me a chance, etc. Do you reckon he had some kind of point?
Yeah, you know, but I know Danny Rose is very outspoken, and you know, but yeah, potentially I think Jose had his favourites. And even his favourites ran out of favour towards the end. He had enough of all of them. Or they had enough of him. You could see it. You know, you could even see Son went completely off the boil.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that's any coincidence. You know, he didn't. You know, I remember it was the Man United game after the whistle went, and he went over to hug Son, and Son looked very despondent to me.
Yeah.
And I felt from there, I was like, yeah, your time's coming, mate. To be honest, I think.
Is Ryan Mason the running then side? Do you reckon, mate?
No.
In the running, no.
That's what I heard. Well, it's only the Daily Mirror, but I've heard Spurs are.
Well, he's in the odds, isn't he? He's in the odds.
He's in the odds. I mean, if he goes on to win all 5 games, I mean, I don't think he should get it, but fair play to him if he does. You know, and he's got us playing. You know, I actually smiled last night and enjoyed the football we played.
I just think he's took the shackles off them. I think that's what he's done.
Oh, definitely. But even we look better at defending as well. We look a bit better at defending. You know, I think he's maybe got a partnership there. He's played Toby and Dyer the last 3 or 4 games. It just shows you when consistency comes in the team, it makes a hell of a difference rather than just keep changing it all the time.
Personally, think if the board is still there next season and he should stay there. For me, it's Mason in. While that board's there and they've not identified a plan, a vision, what they're going to do, how they're going to move forward with regards to transfer budget, it's Mason in for me. Till once they've got something in place, then at least we can bring a manager inside to match their vision. You know, if their vision forward is going to be working with the young players and working with the players we've got already, we're not going to spend any money, then Ryson's fully equipped to carry on what he's doing. But if the stance is suddenly going to change, right, we're going to have a bit of money, we're going to bring some youth players back, but we're going to have an identity, we want to play the old Tottenham way, etc., then I think unfortunately it would be a case of, but until that's sorted, I think it's very premature to think about a manager side. What do you reckon, mate?
Me personally, Bobs, I just think what's going to go on with his protesting and all that, mate, and as people think that people's got different opinions on it. It's not going to work and that. But I think, mate, seriously, this board is under big pressure, and they know it.
Yeah,
they know it. They know it, mate. They know it, mate. Yeah. They know it. They know it's coming, and they know this they know this protest coming.
Do you think that's why they're not rushing? You're not hearing too much the last couple of days. They're not. Yeah. It's something you can't rush this decision. It's got to be the right fit. They've got to get it right.
Exactly what that say. They've got to get this right. We've gone through one after the other, and it hasn't worked, has it? But this one's got to be right. Do you know what? It's not Mason's fault. I mean, he's taken a job. I heard what Stell said on your channel earlier, Bobs, about he could have done Lee. No, yeah.
I've always said no. Still no. I don't agree with that.
Yeah. Right. But he's taken it, and if you take a job like that, mate, you deserve criticism. Doesn't matter if that's your first game or second game, you deserve criticism, and he's got to take it on his shoulders as well. But to me, I mean, I've got nothing against Ryan Mason. I mean, he's a good kid, good lad. But to me, we need something. It's more experience, mate. More coming in there. But as what Matt said, we need to take time with it. to get the right one in. We
Mm.
need the right one in. And as you said there, Bobs, it's not worth looking at some of these players until we've sorted this out big time.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth just bringing players and managers in this mess. It just won't get better.
I'm sure that I don't. The board aren't stupid. Let's be honest. Obviously, you got the supporters trust who are against them now. I'm sure they'll have some. Like I said, I don't think they're going to go anywhere, but they might have to bring in a sporting director, new recruitment team. They've got to change something in that board to get the switch to go. We all want it to be Daniel Levy, but realistically, is anyone going to come in with $2.5 billion? Because he's going to want double what he paid, because he's that type of man. He's not going to leave unwillingly. But I think maybe just a change of strategy is what we need to do. And maybe they need to come out and actually, well, I suppose first of all, apologise for the European Super League, which they still haven't done, which is an absolute disgrace.
Too late now.
Only club to not do it there, but we're owed something.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see his end of season quotes, because he always comes out at the end of the season, doesn't he? And then he maybe will put, stuff in there. But we haven't heard much in the last couple of days, so it'll probably quieten down maybe till the season's ended, and then it'll probably be all guns blazing from there. I reckon. I like the way they're not rushing it. I think they've got to get this right.
I think we're all realistic. I think none of us expect, ENIC out and then it to happen overnight.
Yeah.
I think we all know it's going to be a slow and painful process and when it happens.
I think, like you say, it's good that they're going to, if this protest goes well and many people turn up, they are going to see it.
I'm going,
they're going to see it. So that'll make a big difference. If it makes the headlines as well on like Sky, then it goes all across the world. So.
And let's not forget, yesterday would have cost Sky a bit of money as well with that cancellation. That would have cost Sky a bit of money, and that's what I was worried about. Are these protests, if they carry on? Because what's your thoughts on yesterday's protest? Do you think it went too far? Or do you think it was spot on? Or?
I think it was way too far for me. I think you didn't need to go into the ground. There was two policemen who were assaulted. One got like a massive bottle to the eye, and he's got Alan Shearer summed it up perfectly on Match of the Day too. He was like, "There's a way of doing it. You don't need to do it. I just hope Tottenham don't use violence and it gets out of hand. I don't think we're like that, but it only takes a couple of idiots to do something, and then it all just kicks off."
I was going to ask you, Si, what's stopping Yobs coming down to our protest and starting shit like that and giving us a bad name? Because there's plenty of time to plan it, mate. You can infiltrate and come down and start a bit of shit. The amount of media press that the so-called Man United Yobs got yesterday, what's to stop some non-Spurs fans coming down on the 15th as Spurs fans? The police presence is going to be there now.
I really can't see that happen. I really can't. I can see where coming from, Bob. So easy happen. Turn up in plain clothes. It could be Arsenal fans or Chelsea fans.
I think it's one thing you get.
Only
Spurs.
Takes one, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think one thing you get with Spurs, there is a level of decency about the club, and it's not. That most of our fans are. You'd say hopefully it will just be a decent enough protest where we just make our point without the violence.
Yeah.
And I don't want us to break into we won't get into the stadium for a start. I don't know how they got in at the Man United stand. I'm sure the club's looking at that, and there'll be, probably a lot of telling off for the security, and stewards, and what the hell went on yesterday, But I suppose if like thousands of fans are trying to break in, how are you going to stop them? They'll just run over you, So it's I think there's got to be a way of doing it for me.
So, guys, while we're on the protest, I'll just bring it up here, guys. So, guys, if you are watching in, guys, it's the 15th of May, 12 p.m, guys, outside the club shop. Don't suffer in silence, guys. Support us for change. So, ENIC out, Leavely out, guys. So, if you want to get involved for that, guys. And we have got Cole Simpson. How's it going, pal? Thanks for coming in, pal. You could say Skippy is a huge talent. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. With that, he is a very huge talent. Guys, what do you think of Skippy? He was on crutches. Anyone got any insight why he was on crutches? I've heard from Norwich fans that it's nothing serious, so I don't know what. He was in a protective boot. I saw that he was on crutches in a protective boot. So I don't know what's gone on. But
To be honest,
apparently
I don't think it's too much to worry about because Norwich's season's done. They've won the championship. They'll probably play a few of their youngsters now. You know, Skippy will probably get a week or two's rest, and then he's on his way back to Spurs in the next couple of weeks. But I think what I've seen of him, Simon, he's got a good mature head on his shoulders. I think, and I think he's 10 times a player of Harry Winks for me already. From what I've seen, and he's been out on loan, which Winks never did. So that's going to make him more hardened. And the Championship is not a muck around league. It sets the men's from the boys in that sort of league. They put it about in that league, and Norwich play. I'd say the similar type of football to Spurs do. So I think he could slot straight in.
Plus, I think if it was going to be a major injury, mate, I think we would have heard about it. I think the Spurs would have been, Spurs would have heard about it. So I don't think there's anything to worry about.
Well, the Yid Kid says here there's going to be a protest in the US. This guy.
Oh, nice. Give us a bit more information, Yid. Is it going to be a big one, mate, or is it whereabouts is it going to be, Yid Kid? Just let us know because that'll be interesting, and we could let Cody and the other guys know, can't we? Yeah. And see what they think.
Bill says he's full hockey. Yeah, he is at the minute. So guys, let's go back on a couple of them players. What Alex pointed out, that Yassin Addy from Bordeaux, he seems seriously. I've watched a couple of videos of this guy, and he really does look a real good player. He's only 20 years old. Attacking midfielder. And as Matt said as well earlier, we do need someone in there as well. That's something I've heard Matt's doing it, Bob's. Have you seen the play before?
Seen the odd clips. He's got more hair than me, put it that way. But good attacking midfielder. I think we need someone there, especially if, for me, Ali should be the first one out the door. Purely and simply, I'm a firm believer. Most expensive player out the door first, then get the cheaper. I mean, it just means we can build up that budget prior. Yes, all irrelevant till we get a manager or someone in. But if we are losing an attacking midfielder, then I think this chap could come in and fill that void. Being 20 years old, probably needs a season to bed in. But yeah, I think we just need quality bodies, because at the moment our non-first teamers, our backups absolutely shit. We've got the likes of Sissoko and Winks on the bench, and for me, Lamella. My thoughts of Lamella. I just think we need a bit more quality as a squad, as a whole, and he'd certainly be up there. Untested, young, not normally a good combination, but it can work, and he wouldn't be that expensive. Wouldn't be a bank breaker, would he?
No, absolutely.
I think it'd be interesting.
Go on, Matt.
I think to go back on the Dele Alli situation. I mean, if he has a good 5 games, I think he's going to start quite a few of these. Maybe not against Leeds, but I think he might play all the home games. If he just looked like he had a bit more of a smile on his face last night, he'd been unhandcuffed from Mourinho. It looks like the whole team have been, but that could push him on. But I think you have to agree. I suppose if he hasn't scored since March 2020.
It's all about opinions, isn't it, Matt? I mean, for me, when we did the thing earlier on, the player ratings, I personally thought he was the worst Spurs player yesterday. But then, everyone up their game. I thought there was a number of times he gave the ball away, but that probably come from rustiness. To be fair, I'll probably look about. It's probably harsh on him. He's not played that many. Yeah, he's a bit rusty, isn't he, mate?
I mean, to be fair, I looked at Kane last night and thought, I don't know what's going on with you tonight, mate. You definitely should have got a goal or two.
Head's not there. Head's not there, is it?
He didn't look happy. He looked fed up. He looked. No. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one.
Do you think the writing's on the wall then, Si, with regards to Kane, or do you reckon it was just an off game?
You know what? Me and Matt always talk about this, and
I think he'll stay. I think he'll stay. I don't think anyone's got 150 million. That's what Daniel Levy's going to want. I can't. When you got Haaland out there.
I think. Do you know what? I know the money situation at the minute, but these City owners don't care. They're just dirty rich. They don't care, mate. Seriously.
They
They
don't
know
even
they
need
can
a
get-
striker, mate. They're walking the league.
But
What
the
about?
thing is-
Sorry, go on, mate. Because there's a rumor coming around. Would you take what was it? 80 million plus Van der Beek and Marcus Greenwood for Kane.
Right. Before we get there, guys. Bob,
Go on, mate.
just hang on there, mate. We've got Anthony Gray say last night said broken foot.
Ah, right, okay.
Skip, but last night didn't know if it was op or rest.
Right, okay.
Cole says actually I heard a rumor they are worried he has broken his foot, but nothing concrete yet. He says
Okay.
this and that. 765. Would you guys take Happen Flick? Saw something that he could be interested on the Matt channel or Mate's channel. Edmondson says Dele Alli's had issues through was a victim of robbery, break-in, and assault, and his girlfriend left him. Apparently, there's a lot on his mind. Not sure he'll ever be a great player. He was again. Quickly, guys, just touch on that one. Is this relevant to his form? Do you reckon, or do you think it's happened to other players and? Or do you reckon it is playing in the back of his mind? He's lost his girlfriend. As I said, he's got his girlfriend. He's had break-ins, and
I mean, we never know a player's mind, mate. But there's breakups happening left, right, and centre.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's scathe Aurier all we want. He played on the day his brother passed away. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
It's all about being professional. It's all about playing for the club. It's all playing for your employers. If you want to look at it harshly, so for me, my question would be if his mindset, if his mentality is that if things going wrong outside football means he's not going to perform on the pitch, then unfortunately he's better off going. If he doesn't have the mentality to play as a Premier League footballer, regardless of what's going on, I know it's easier said than done, and it's hard, of course it is, but I think it's I think it needs to be, you need to separate it, and maybe it's just me being a hard-nosed twat.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean the breakup thing that's a bit ridiculous. Everyone goes through breakups, and he's on about $100,000 a week. So it's we've been through. I'm sure all of us have been through a breakup, and we're on nowhere near and that. So it's kind of like all right, mate. And he could get any bird he wants. He's a footballer. Do you know what I mean? Like he could just click his fingers and go and get one. I think with him, I think he took his eye off the ball. I think he was so concentrated on his actual brand, like his fashion brand. He's very into his gaming. I know he stays up late at night. There was rumours that he was late to Pochettino's training sessions quite a lot. So that's an attitude problem.
And sitting in the car, Matt, as well. Sitting in the car on a 2-hour Instagram, not saying anything, just miming to a song. It's just weird, mate.
That is weird.
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to be careful, obviously, with mental health and everything else. We don't know how certain things will affect the player. But
I mean, I think the robbery and break-in would affect him. To be honest, if he got threatened, what was it, by a knife, or that would play with your mind, especially if he still lives in the same house. I suppose he maybe feels a bit security caught. That don't get me wrong, that could potentially mentally really scar you. And that's horrible what happened to him, that sense. But it was kind of 2 years ago now. Hopefully, maybe just this end of season, he can just maybe get a couple of games, get his head together. I'd love him to get a goal, especially if it is like maybe his last goal for the club. It would just be nice for him. Just maybe I still believe he's got that. He's got something in him. I mean, I'm seeing what Jesse Lingard's doing at West Ham, but he's at a new club, isn't he? I suppose as well. But maybe you're right, Bob. Maybe Dele needs a new club, or he just needs a new lease of life with a new manager, a new project and
good pre-season.
Yeah, exactly. You just never know.
He's not going there for England, is he? So he's got a full.
Exactly, he's going to have a full race. He's not getting in that England team, no way.
Exactly.
But it's an interesting one. But I think all Spurs fans would love him to,
of course, I think everyone wants
go back to how he was, because if we can get him firing again, that's another 10 goals sorted for the season.
I just think we need to be careful, because personally, I think he's lost in valuation. He's probably lost about 10, 15 million since the summer. We could have potentially sold him. If we keep him on for another 6 months or so, it's just going to dwindle, isn't it? So do we cash in on him now, or do we wait and see, like you say, Matt? It's one of those, mate.
It's Daniel Levy. You know what he's like.
Yeah.
Is he going to get the money he wants? He's not going to sell him cheap. He's not going to, or he might say to the new manager that comes in, if he's still getting involved in day-to-day stuff, no, you can't sell him. I want you to get the best out of him, and we'll sell him on when he, eventually comes good again. But that's a gamble because he might not.
Of course.
We got Perez there. Says, do you reckon Dele will be a good player for whatever team he leaves to? And Darth says, hey, I can finally catch it live. YouTube has been buggy. Right, okay. Nice one for coming in, guys. Especially Darth as well. The girlfriend breakup. I had no idea about. Sue mentioned it on the Irish Hotspur last night. Oh yeah, I saw that comment. No, it was last year the breakup. Breaking. Sorry, yeah. You could say apparently the protest will be at the NBC Sports Studio in Miami.
Oh, that's interesting.
So anyone from the States, anyone from US, apparently.
I think we'll contact Will and Cody just to see what their thoughts are on that.
NBC Sports Studio.
Yeah.
So a nice one for that, pal. Thanks for the info. Apparently, it's due to Dele in a video games. Laugh out loud. Yeah, absolutely.
I can't laugh about that. It is a serious addiction, isn't it now? For video games, but again, if his mindset's not right, if he hasn't got the mentality of a Premier League player, he doesn't deserve to be in a Premier League team. I'm sure there's other teams out there who'll take it. I see him at Everton. I don't know why. I just see him as an Everton player. I don't think he'll get into a top four. And Everton are up and coming. I hope he doesn't, but I don't know why. I just think Claudio. He might actually take an interest with him. I don't know.
So guys, we've been on to the other player I want to go on to is Zelik, this good guy here. And Alex did really he spoke highly of this guy. He really did. And I reckon that's the position we need to look at as well, guys, next season. Okay, I know we need to sort out the ball level manager and all that, but position, I think that's a position, guys. I don't know what you're on about. I don't know what you see of him, but I think he seems quite a solid defender. Alex said he doesn't go forward much, does he? Matt, he said that.
No, but he can do. He's a balance. He's a balance. He's solid, and he doesn't make stupid decisions and jump in and make rash tackles and push, make silly fouls. It seems like he's. I think we just need. He just said he's a solid. He's just going to be a solid right back, and I think that's what Spurs need.
So Bob's, do you know much on this guy?
I've seen him. I personally think I think Doherty should stay and become solidify his number one position at right. But I'm joking. No chance. I
think he will stay though, Doherty. I think new manager will come in and he'll go right. Let's have it.
Yeah, I think what I was watching his clips from when he was at Wolves and these games. There's a player in there in Doherty. I don't know what's happened to him, but well, there's not many right backs out there. So that's the problem. There's Max Aarons. There's that Hakimi guy. There's this obviously Zeki.
Actually, we did actually blitz him, Alex. Bob, before we come on, we did say Zelik or Aarons, and he said Zelik over Aarons.
Okay.
He said, he's more of a. He said he hasn't seen much of Aarons, but what he's seen of Aarons doesn't give him the confidence that he'll be over Zelik. So he said, if you're going to go for one, he's definitely a player.
You got to look at Zelik, and he'll have European experience as well.
Exactly,
Champions League, but Aarons hasn't. It's very different.
Yeah, I thought we just do need to sort that right back position out.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
There's a guy called Tal, isn't he?
He's good. Very
he's
good
as well.
Yeah,
so
he's another player.
we just, I think we just need to
We
keep
just
our
need
eyes
a
open.
fresh one, don't we? We just need a
do,
whole new
yeah.
right back and just, see you later, mate.
Yeah,
So,
even if
guys-
it means a 20, 28 or 29-year-old coming in for a season or two, I'm quite happy with that. Obviously, we've got the likes of Lavigne, who's our
Yeah.
youngster, who's suddenly got, but I think way too at the moment, unfortunately, he doesn't have a a role model to follow, because I certainly don't want him to turn out like Aurier or Doherty at this time moment. So,
Well, you look
Yeah, go
at
on, mate,
Chelsea, don't you? And
Yeah.
Aspilicueta can play right
Exactly.
back. He's not full of pace, but I'll tell you what, he's bloody solid.
Oh yeah, he always has
Knows-
good games against us. Always
Yeah.
plays well against
Well, he has
us.
a good, they've got a good defence, haven't they?
Yeah.
That's all we need. I think our attack's as good as anyone's, personally.
Oh yeah.
Just a shame that front three haven't played enough, and that's the one thing I have a criticism of Mourinho about. I reckon we'd maybe be in the top 4 with the amount of goals we'd get with that front three.
Possibly, yeah.
We've got James here. He said, "Looks like I'm flying to Miami. Can't beat that." The Yid kid says, "If Delhi was late, if it was late to Pop's practices, imagine to Ryan Mason's." Yeah, absolutely. Darcy says, "Oh yeah, with new good wingers, imagine how good Spurs will be with Kane and Son still." Yes, I think that's what we lack as well. Some a couple of wingers as well. Aurier's a donkey. We'll need rid of him.
I'm just not sure about Bergwijn now either. I think he's a bit of a waste.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. From what I watched
yeah.
of him last night,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, okay, he got an assist, but it wasn't really an assist. It was literally just a sideways pass, wasn't it?
I think he's fallen foul under the Mourinho effect as well, matey. I think he needs let's not forget, him and Aurier were our first choice right-hand siders at the beginning of the season when we were top of the league. They weren't they? Under Mourinho, Bergwijn and Aurier were a first choice, and I think those misses, those 2 misses against Liverpool really took a lot out of him. And let's not forget his online hate, mate, was awful. Absolutely awful.
Bad.
It was so bad. But yeah. Go on.
I was watching the Irish Hotspur last night. I was on there for about 40 odd minutes and I come off.
I remember. I watched it, mate. I watched it. Yeah.
And when Alex said, when Ben Davies deserves a testimonial.
Mate, Michael Dawson didn't even get a testimony. Ben Davies gets one over him. That's a joke.
But there's talk of Harry Winks getting one.
Oh, God.
I'm joking.
Oh.
I haven't seen it, but he was serious, Matt. I don't know if you watched it, but he was serious, mate.
It was serious.
Absolutely.
It was serious.
I can't listen to him because he just does my nutting, and I just end up swearing at the screen.
Give it another season. Lamella be qualified for a testimonial.
But Matt, if you get a chance to watch it, just have a little watch, mate, because him and Will, mate, they had a good little spat, mate. That was brilliant. That was absolutely fantastic.
Tell you what, mate. Unfortunately, West Ham have been absolutely awesome the second half. Don't know.
What a game this has been, though.
End to end. Absolutely brilliant.
It just shows you, mate. West Ham haven't spent loads. They just got the positions they needed. Fresh players.
He says I like Bergwijn. I think he might improve. I can't forget those misses versus Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like a bad recurring nightmare. And Carl says, I don't know what Alex was on last night. Winks and David's quality. I know, Carl.
I'll have to watch this now.
He's entitled to his opinions.
Oh, Jesus, come on. When it comes to you got to be sensible, Bobbs. I don't care what anyone says. You got to be sensible.
What I found difficult was hard watch when people asked him to justify why he thinks Winks is a good player. And he couldn't.
He kept
avoiding it. He kept avoiding it.
What I'd say about Winks in his whole Tottenham career, 2 goals, 2 assists, and not one, and I mean not one single contributing forward pass. Not one.
That is terrible.
Game-changing pass going forward, not one. With 2 goals, 2 assists in his whole Tottenham career as a midfielder.
Here's a stat for you.
Go on,
How many goals and assists do you think Son, Kane, and Bale have this season altogether?
Oh, that'd be good, mate. That would. I don't know.
How many?
50? 50s?
55?
Try 72.
Wicked.
Wow.
And he's got to come back. Like with fans as well, he'll be a joke next. And he gets a
mate, I want him back.
Yeah.
My only concern is the 220. That's my only concern. And if and like I was saying to Alex, if oh my god, nearly 2-all. But yeah, my only concern is the 220. If it means 220 on him means we can't get a defender in, I'm not sure if I'd want Bale in for the sake of that. But if we can get to an agreement where it's 220, even if it goes down to 150 or something, and it means Real Madrid paying, that's why I'm so intrigued with that question and with that scenario, because I want him back, of course. For a young Bergwijn would probably want him around next season. He
just adds class to our attack. He just knows what he's got 9 goals, so he's taken 9 goals. It's not just Kane and Son. Then it's someone else chipping in. Yeah,
I just don't want him for 220 because he's not a 38 Premier League game player.
What was it?
I know you just watched chance, Matt. Yeah, yeah, I know. That's what I was going.
How did you miss that?
I don't know.
Was it the you could say what's I'm saying? Marcelo was taking the mick.
Yeah.
Marcelo
was hilarious.
He said, poor Alex. He took some crap about.
All jokes aside, he is entitled to his opinion. If you're feeling, what I say about opinions is have an opinion, but back it up.
Back it up. Yeah.
Back it up. Yeah. And he was struggling. He was struggling.
So guys, as well, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter today. Claude's funeral's on Friday, guys. I think it's 11:30. It's past in the Arsenal Stadium. So if you're in and around that area, guys, just go down there, pay respect to Claude. Absolutely fantastic guy. I think we Kenneth said earlier. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's still really, really, really torn up about it. Poor sod. Yeah. So guys, quickly before we sign off, with this new manager coming, do you think now this is going to be another rebuild? Do you think that's the way we're going to go? Do you reckon this club is going down that rebuild again, going down that avenue? Or do you think with the squad we got, we just need a couple of players added to it and an experienced coach and let them go again?
I think it's irrelevant. I think it's absolutely relevant. If it is going to be, I'll tell you something. If it is going to be a rebuild, I'm quite happy for that. But the board need to make it clear. The board need to tell us what their vision is. They need to relay it because the communication's been shit for 20 years. All we've done is played guessing games for 20 years. All we've played is trying to second guess what they're trying to do and guess what manager or played. What they need to do is have clarity with what direction they're going, have a clear vision of which way they want to go, and an identity to put on the club. Because unfortunately, it is them. They're the foundations. There's no point in having stuff to put in a house or around the foundation if the foundations aren't strong. We need a strong foundation, and those foundations are unfortunately the board. So they need to be clear, precise with their identity and the vision, and let the fans know. And if the plan is to rebuild the squad, fantastic. Bring a manager to suit that. If the plan is right, we're going to spend mega bucks this summer. We're going to bring in 6-7 players or 5-6 players, and we are going to splash the cash. Fine. We're not going to bring a manager who's going to do a rebuild. We're going to bring a manager like a Jose to come in, spend the money.
Spend the money.
So once that's sorted, everything else will fall into place. But until that's sorted, Ryan Mason in.
Yeah. Okay, that's
in my opinion.
There. Yeah, that's positive. Matt, what's your opinion on it, mate? Where do you think this club's going to go? Okay, you can say yes. We need to get Daniel Levy and Enoch out, and it's easy said and done. I mean, we know it's not going to be just like we're going to turn up on the 15th and they're going to say, "Yeah, thank you very much."
We've had enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
They know next season when it's a complete full stadium, the money's going to be rolling in, so they're not going to go nowhere. I think Will hit it on the head. I heard him the other night. He said the first person we need to get out is Daniel Levy. That's the one we need to target first, trying to get Daniel Levy.
It would have gone by now, so that's the thing.
Yeah,
if he didn't go within the first couple of days, I don't understand the logic behind him going a week or so later. So if Levy was going to go, I reckon he would have gone by now, in my opinion.
So Matt, what's your opinion? Where do you think? Where's this going, mate? Where are they looking to go? Are they looking to, as what Bob's saying, bringing go and spend some ridiculous amount of money, bringing an experienced coach, or do you know what? We're going to bring in a younger manager and let's rebuild for another 4 or 5 years.
I think it would be a younger manager. I don't think necessarily it's going to be a Pochettino type of rebuild because I do think we do have some good players who for some reason were just coached wrongly or not the Tottenham way, but there are bad players as well. Our squad's not terrible. For me, our squad's better than West Ham's. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
So I think they just play as a team and they've got a good team ethic this year. But we're only they're ahead of us by like 2 points. So we've had such a bad season. They've had their best season since I've known them. We're not. I don't think we're necessarily too far off. I think we just got. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Like I think the protests are going to be great, and it's going to. I think the board are going to have to act, and they must know these protests are coming. I'm sure they've had a sniff of it from someone who's picked it up.
I'm sure they know.
And I'm sure they're having loads of meetings going. We've got to get this manager search right. It's got to be kind of a Tottenham type of manager. I don't think they're necessarily going to go down the route of a Mourinho type manager again. It's too risky. It's too much money, and it didn't work for a start. We're not going to spend loads of money yet. Maybe after get a season back in at the new stadium, get some money back in, potentially have a much better season than this year. The money comes back in, and they have to learn their mistakes from what they did to Pochettino. You can't stand still again. If you get a manager in, like someone who's good with a project, like a Gartier or as Alex said, a Potter or someone like that, then I think you've got to learn your mistakes that you did with Pochettino, and you learn from your mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, and we get that. This board's made 20 years of mistakes, so I can't forgive them for that. But yeah, do you know what? Bring on a rebuild because it will bring in new players. We're going to bring some youngsters through. Mate, it could be exciting times again. I just want to be able to watch my football team and go, that's our identity. That's how we want to play. And it might be tough first season, but let's.
But then we need a manager who can come in and do a rebuild, and there's no point getting a Jose in if we're going to do a rebuild.
I think it'd be Graham Potter, mate. From what I've read tonight, Steve Hitchin likes him. The Tottenham board like him. It's whether you can get him from Brighton, because if he's quite happy with the project he's doing there, which I don't see why he wouldn't be, because there's so many good youngsters there. Yeah. He might be thinking,
Matt,
well, I'm not sure.
As a question, as a question for you here.
We've got a better squad.
Oh come on, we have right. So their squad's got. They've got
a better team. They've got a better team at the moment, but we've got a better squad, 100%.
I'd say our team's better. If we play to our best, I think we're better than them. We nearly beat them.
Right now, they are the better team. 100%. The table says that. But as better players, no, I'm sorry, Jose couldn't get the best out of our squad.
He completely, you've seen it. Our players struggled to. They've been so used to defending so much. That they were just stifled, even in the cup final. They don't know how to pass the ball. They don't know how to zip it. They've lost their way. And that's what I liked about last night. I was seeing triangles. I was seeing passes, energy, the press. How nice was the press to see last night? Yeah. Actual energy and people bloody running and putting their bodies on the line.
Yeah.
some reason Jose, he did it at Man United towards the end of, his tenure, and it was the same at Spurs.
Yeah.
I think you have to say it. Without the money, Jose's a bit of a finished man. He just
There he
can't
comes.
go with the
Here's another one.
times.
Go on, Matt. Go on, Si.
We've got Chris here saying, let's see what Premier League do first with punishment.
Yeah.
Carlos says our squad is very unbalanced. Only Pierre and Rodon like to get stuck in. We need to play breakers, not playmakers. And he said, like Kieran said last night, we have a loop-sided squad comprising on a balance of quality and naff players, or unbalanced or imbalanced squads.
To be honest, I don't think it's a massive rebuild. I think you need maybe 2 centre backs, a right back, and another central midfielder. When you read it like that, I mean, the options we've heard tonight, you don't have to go and spend millions. Look at West Ham; they bought Souček and Kufau, cost them $5 million for the both. They've completely changed their squad. They got Lingard on loan. The difference is they've just bought smartly, and there's a plan there for West Ham. That's what Spurs need to get on board. There has to be a strategy. There has to be a plan, and they've got to get it right. And I think this is why I'm liking the manager search going on. It's not a rush. It's not like you sack Poch and you go, right, Jose, you're the man. You're going to win us trophies. Exactly. And it was instant success. Wasn't to be.
Yeah. At Bobsy73. You could at Bobsy73, or come onto my channel, Bob Spur TV, and at Bobsy73, mate.
Absolutely. Laugh out there. Better than West Ham. He's still going on it.
Mate, we are better than West Ham. I don't care how many seasons have we finished above them. How many more trophies have we won than them? I'm sorry, they're better this season. No, they're better this season. I'll give them that, but I guarantee next year we finish above them.
Yeah, our squad is better. Their team's better this season.
He said, I'm watching them now, and West Ham can control the ball properly and pass to a teammate and pass forward. And Carlos says,
okay, but they're only 2 points ahead of us. So we've been terrible and they've been amazing, and we're still near them. This is what I'm saying. Our team's not that bad. It's just been coached badly from my or just.
The best way to do it, Matt. If at the beginning of the season, if we were choosing before the games started, and we're talking about squad, not a team. The team right now, I'm saying West Ham are a better team because they've been coached better, they've been managed better.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season, if we had to choose a combined 11, we would have had 11 Tottenham players. Simple.
Yeah, but I mean, we smoked them in the first half. I know we drew 3-3. We smashed them 3 against them. There's deficiencies there for them. If I go through their squad, right, let's look at their strikers. Okay, Kane better than Kane. Antonio, who's better? Kane.
Yeah.
Son and Ben Rama, Son, or even Bowen. Right wing, we've got Bale or you got Ben Rama or Bowen again. You go Bale, don't you? Yeah. Midfield, you'd probably go. Yeah, you can have Souček. We'll probably have Pierre.
Pierre and Dembele,
exactly.
and Lo Celso. At the beginning of the season, I'm talking at the beginning of the season. As a squad, we're talking about better squads.
Yeah.
And Dembele, Pierre, and Lo Celso would get ahead of Souček, in my eyes.
We were top of the league for 5 weeks. West Ham have not been top once this season. You can't tell me this squad's not better than theirs. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Something went wrong. Something went wrong down the line, and I think Jose just got too much negativity into him. You can see it. I'm not having it. I'm not having that West Ham are better than us.
I'm looking forward to his comments down below. I haven't got to them yet. The most important thing is the summer. Absolutely fantastic there, pal. Cole says, I just wanted to see have a better end to the season with some good football. So there is a bit of our Spurs back. And
let's hope so. Let's hope so. You can afford to go now. Let's go for it.
And there's that Carlos and balance. Look it up. Definition. Information between corresponding things. Google it. I just did it. You.
It's kicking off.
Kicking off in the chat.
You put a West Ham fan in this. What happens, mate?
Oh man.
Oh dear. So guys,
What's your opinions on it, Simon? Bob and I have had ours about the rebuild. I know you don't like a rebuild, but would you do it to go again? You know, I think maybe a mini one.
I still say we need do it, not a complete rebuild as you said there, Matt. I think we do need a couple of players. That depends on these sorting, but it's such a mess at the minute, isn't it? We don't know where to go, where to start. I mean, we're all crying out for Levy and Lewis to go, but it's not as easy. And if we be honest about it, it's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy because I don't know many. I don't know a lot of clubs that are going to be pulling our hands off for our players. You know, there's better players out there.
But this is why I think, and people still laugh at me. I had it on a couple of channels, mate, and I think I said it on the other night, and Brian actually went at it when I said about Brendan Rodgers, about I really do think there's a massive chance of him coming through. I don't care what anyone says. I think he could be possibly.
I've heard it's sort of dead in the water because of how much it would cost. It's a £20 million you have to pay Leicester to get him, and then he's going to be on near enough 13 million a year. So it's only 2 million less than Jose.
Was it the back of the mirror? Was it the mirror?
It might just be better to stay clear and just go with a different type of manager, another Pochettino type manager. It worked.
I still say I say Ten Hag.
He's not coming. He's not coming. He's not coming. He's at Ajax. I don't want him because his head's at Ajax. I don't want someone who's.
I don't want a manager who's going to come here just for money. Because if Brendan Rodgers or Ten Hag come, they'll be coming right for the money. If they wanted to manage Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, they would have said yes straight away. If they're coming in, I want them. Yeah.
The thing is, Bob, we're in rumours, we don't know the honest truth about this. Let's go to Rodgers. We don't know the honest truth what's going on there. We don't know the honest.
No, but it's come out. It's come out. He's physically came out and said he's not. He wouldn't take it, hasn't he?
And it's going to cost too much.
It's come from the horse's mouth.
Levy's still playing Pochettino. Yeah, I don't know.
If he turned around and said, "Well, they were a big club, and I'm very flattered by the thingy, and I might consider whatever," but if he's come out and said, and he's literally my favourite word, poo-pooed the idea of managing Tottenham, I don't want him. I want someone to come to us because he wants to, not because he feels like he has to.
This is why I feel. Look, it's not just because I like Brighton, but I feel like Potter would manage Tottenham, and I think he'd love it. And even Pep Guardiola called him the best English coach in the Premier League. And Pep Guardiola's not exactly a mug, is he?
Shelf side says fight. Yes. Nice one for subscribing earlier, pal. Thank you very much.
It's all right. She won't be coming down now, so it's all right. It's not
you could say, mate. That's
a dirty.
I know, dirty. No, not even a yellow card, Matt.
Flipping hell.
Bob, he's saying he can't direct message. You've got to follow him now. I think
that's fine. If you're on the Yedkid, mate, I'll find you as soon as it finishes.
Yeah.
If you want to put your handle in the comments, I'll get it off Matt in a bit, mate. I mean.
Yeah. And Joey says top 4 is defo still on. If West Ham drop points anywhere, we go above. If Leicester drop points, we can go above them on the last game of the season. Thank you, Joey.
So many things need to go right. So many things that need to go right.
Chelsea have got Man City, haven't they? That's their next game.
There's going to be some drop points there,
I'm a Tottenham fan since 1982 Cup Final. Watched them at White Hart Lane a fair few times, but I admit we're awful this season, especially 100%. when in the leads. Cole says, when PSG lose the Champions League and League One, we can have Pop back. Well, this is the question.
I said this last week, and people laughed at me.
Oh, would you have him?
Poch, under right circumstances. Yeah. If I'm going to do a rebuild, then no. I don't want any. I don't want to destroy his career again.
To me, would Pochettino have failed
score again on
at PSG if he hasn't won this league this season? Would you call him a failure? Not winning this league.
It'll always, but he's won a cup, hasn't he? But yeah, he's not gone there to. And PSG managers have lost their jobs for not progressing in the Champions League, and
that's all they need to win. That's all they need to win. That's what they want. That's why they keep putting loads of money into, because they're like, we've won the French league. We need the Champions League. That's all they've got left.
Yeah.
That's why Tuchel got the sack, didn't he? Because he didn't win it.
Do your kids say Ten Hag won't come to Tottenham just to get revenge for the semi-final? And Joey says Simon's in the wrong here. What, I'm in the wrong, pal?
What about me?
Yeah, exactly. Come back on me on that. Yeah, I said good at Pochettino, guys. It's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one. I think
it'd be typical bloody Tottenham, wouldn't it? He just come back.
I said, I mean, you can take a manager out of Spurs, but you can't take Spurs out of manager.
He loves us. Even on his first press conference, he couldn't stop talking about Tottenham at PSG.
But you know what?
You want a manager like that to come. The new manager's got to have the same like that. He's got to love the club, because that's why every Tottenham fan loved Pochettino and no one liked Mourinho, because he's not a Tottenham man.
Yeah,
he's a fucking Chelsea man.
That's the reason why the board needs to be in place and with a vision to get Pochettino back. Because, no point getting Poch back if he's going to be told this is the players you got to work with and you're going to have no money to spend.
Well, I mean, who's to say Pochettino would come back now? He might go, no, I've worked with you, Daniel, mate. Yeah, he would, but he'd be like, I will guarantee that we're going to spend.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're not going to throw me under the bus again.
I said, guys, we're going to end it in a couple more minutes, guys. And
my tea's getting cold.
Yeah. So I've heard it. Yeah. So guys, we'll just put it up one more time, guys. So it is, guys, the 15th of May, guys. 12 p.m. outside the club shop, guys. And don't suffer in silence, guys. Support us for change. Levy out, Enoch out, and.
Please, whatever you do, don't go into the club shop and buy something.
Yeah. Yeah,
no violence either. We don't condone violence. No violence. Let's have a peaceful protest, but within reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely, guys. I saw that, guys, when someone was holding up a banner and a merch bag, and I was going, "It's defeating the object. You just spent a load of money."
I would have got hold of that bag, bloody thrown it, man. I'd be like, mate, get out.
What the? I feel for him, though. There's a meme everywhere now, isn't he?
He must have just not realised. He must have just what's this big gathering?
Bob's.
That's fine.
And he said, "Great show, though. Good to have a heated debate. Yeah, nice one for coming in. So everyone, thank you for coming in tonight. It's been an absolute good show. It's a good insight. I'm gonna get Alex back on. We're gonna have we'll carry on.
Really good. I enjoyed Alex.
I'll try and get Alex on once a week then, and we'll just see if the insight, the rumours. I think he's quite good at that. And so yes, guys, thanks for coming on. Thanks for Bob's jumping on. Absolutely fantastic, mate. Bob,
always played. Like I say, Bob, it's like home to me. This channel, it really is. It's like I say, it's where I first started, mate. The first channel to ever appear on. So for me, it's coming back home for a bit to visit too, mate. So just feels natural.
Bob. Nice one, Bob. Cheers. Nice one, pal. So, Bob, tell everyone where they can find you, mate.
Yeah, Bob Spur TV, just bringing out Spurs content. I've been quiet for a couple of days, not been too well, but I did do the day after, the day before show earlier, and suffice to say, throughout the week, I'll be bringing content. So yeah, and it's been it's interesting times. I'm just waiting for that day where there's a bit of change up top, and hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, so everyone, seriously, get over to Bob's channel. Absolutely, subscribe to his channel, guys. Absolutely great content. Some great panels he has on as well, guys. So really get over there. Matt, tell everyone who can find you, mate.
Just a Sussex Hotspur on Twitter. Obviously, I'm on here with Simon as much as I can be. Full time with work though, it's pretty crazy. I'm still here, but like Bob says, we need change, but. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm quite excited for the next 4 games of the league. I feel like we got a little bit of our Tottenham back. The attacking football we like. At least if we're going to go down, we go down with a bit of, the echo of glory, which is our motto. But it's a roller coaster of a ride. But would we change it? Nah, of course we wouldn't. When when finally we get that, you know, the you know, the trophy or win, you know, something, it will feel that extra special. So yeah, but no, you know, it's great having these shows, and it's great having Alex on tonight, and you know, I'm sure we're gonna have. I think we've got a few more shows coming up, haven't we, Simon? So
tomorrow night, guys. So tomorrow night, guys, we've got the Q&A on here with me and Matt, and we've got the Irish Hotspur. We've got David Alex on here tomorrow night. It's going to be an absolute cracking one. That one, so that could be on for another 1 hour or 2 hours. You know how David talks. David loves that.
To be fair,
he
and
loves
after,
yes, when he's in the background, he's smoking away, and he's like absolute ace. And there's the gem, CFC gem. Yes, gem. The spuds are back.
Spuds are back.
Nice one. Nice one for joining in, mate. But we're going out now, mate. But thanks for tuning in, mate. Absolutely fantastic. And thanks for your support as well. Thanks for everyone's support on Facebook as well tonight. We've had a couple of you on here. Absolutely fantastic. So I said, that's it. We've been Premier Hotspur TV, guys. I've been Simon. This has been the co-host Matt. This has been Bob's, and we had Alex in earlier, the Euro expert. So we're gonna have him back on. So guys, we'll see you again, and we'll leave you with a bit of a sing song as Yes, guys, thank you very much. And Paul is tuned in too late. It's never too late for Paul.
Saw it out. Probably too busy doing his little stubble.
Oh, dear, Jesus Christ. So guys, thanks for tuning in, guys. As I said, good night, God bless. Back here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. The Irish Hotspurs on our Q&A.
Look forward to that.
So, good night, guys. Thank you very much.
Enoch out.